Welcome back, folks, to the WP-Tonic show. It's episode 385. The episodes are flying past. Summer's coming, spring. Yes, the lambs, sunshine, all that. All right, listeners and viewers, we've got a great topic. It's going to be just me and Cindy this week, but we're talking about timelines. And it's ongoing consideration if you're looking to build your membership, your learning management system course. What is a realistic timeline to get this live and for it to generate income for you, beloved listeners and viewers? So that's what we're going to be talking. I've got my great co-host here, Cindy. Cindy, would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's Cindy Nicholson here from thecoursewhisperer.com. And I, just as Jonathan says, we help entrepreneurs that are wanting to create really good online courses.
Yeah, she's from Canada, folks. It's still a bit chilly there, is it? Toronto, isn't it?
It is, although there is no more snow left. So that's a step in the right direction.
Thank God. I'm from Reno, of Carson City, on the outskirts of northern Nevada. We've had a pretty grim winter, folks, and the ski resorts are still all open, and it's the beginning of April, which is and they're going to be open until the end of April. We've had a series of storms ourselves. Yes, folks, you are on the WP-Tonic show, not the Weather Channel. So we're going to go straight into it. So. I think a lot of people have unrealistic timelines about how much time it's going to take to get their course. And I think we've been going on a bit over the past months, haven't we, Cindy, about being realistic about your first course. Don't think you're going to throw everything in. So, to start this off, do you think that's the crux of the problem to start off with, is that people think volume rather than quality initially for their first course?
Yeah, well, I think what ends up happening is, people hear about this concept of creating an online course and they love the idea and they want to share what they know. And the instinct is to share everything that you know in that first course, get it all out there. And what I'm constantly working on with clients is to kind of really just pull back and focus on not what you know, but what problem you're going to solve. Like what is the issue that your clients are having that you can solve for them right away? And often it's a smaller problem than the overarching problem. So I really think we're going in a direction of like just-in-time learning, which what I mean by that is that people are not going to want to get a complete course on how to solve all world problems. They're going to want a specific course on how to solve something specifically until the next problem comes up. So what that means is that the courses, I think, are going in the direction of being much tighter and shorter, which is good news because they take a lot less time to create.
Yeah. So what do you think if you're going for, let's call it a mini course? It's not the best title. I don't know what title if you got a better one, a micro course, maybe a micro course. How long do you think, these are only very broad guidelines, but from conception to having a set of material, written quizzes and video, what would you recommend to a client? How long do you think it's going to take to really get that into a state where you could actually build out a website?
Well, that's a tough question because it totally depends on how, this could be done in a week if you had the time. It could be done in 3 weeks if you had the time. So what I usually break it down to, and again, mini course or just,
What would you classify as a mini course?
Well, see, that's...
Yeah, I know I'm putting you in the spot, but just do your best. Let's get very broad.
Well, I see a mini course. It depends on what the problem is that you're solving, but I let's say it's about 10 different lessons. you know, and these lessons, I mean, are like a 5 minute video with some sort of action item. Let's say that's a mini course, and that you can teach your course in, you know, 10 steps to get them the outcome that they're looking for. But rather than identify the number of weeks, because everybody has different availability, right? I like to count it in number of hours. So what I generally tell my clients who are creating the content themselves, I say 5 hours per lesson to do like end to end. So to do the research, to do the you know, the storyboard, to do the videoing, to do the editing, to doing the PowerPoint slides. I would say, depending on how many lessons you have, I would give it 5 hours per lesson. So if you've got 10 lessons, then that's 10 hours. You've got 25 lessons, that's 25 hours, 5 hours per lesson. So 50 hours and then 125 hours. So that's usually the benchmark or the ballpark that I tell my clients. But then it depends. It depends on, sometimes people take a long time to record their videos. So that might up it up. Whereas some people might be really quick at putting worksheets together. So that might decrease the time. But I usually give them the ballpark of 5 hours per lesson.
Right. That's a good judge. So based on your experience, you know, like this is, you know, all people are different. If they can do 5 hours, it's going to take 5 hours per lesson. And how many lessons do you think you would say roughly in a mini course?
Let's say 10 to 12.
Right. If they're really motivated and they're really serious about getting this done, how many weeks or months should this take, really?
Well, a mini course like that, again, if it's 50 hours, excuse me, how much time are you willing to commit each week? So when I work with my clients, I say, can you give me 5 hours per week? And in terms of doing the work that they need to do. And so then, you know, that's 10 weeks. But if some people can devote more time to that, if you can devote like 10 hours, then it's only going to take 5 weeks to do it. So it totally depends on what much time you want to put into it.
So let's say they write out a brief about the basic structure of the course. They're hiring you to help them actually produce or edit or jointly produce more detailed content that will be part of the course. But let's say with your help, they build out a structure, course structure, what's going to be in each lesson. Then they've got to do the video. Do you think it's a good idea to, you know, can they do the video at home, or do they really need to maybe hire a studio? See, that's a can of worms in its own, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I do have an opinion about that. For me, keep it as simple as possible, especially if you're doing this for the first time. Don't worry about renting a studio. You can do that down the road, but if you're getting this course out for the first time, keep it as simple as possible. So video camera, PowerPoint, or however you want to deliver it, a bit of lighting, a good microphone, that's all you need. Because, you know, when you start to rent studio and get a videographer, that can get quite expensive. And
very quickly.
Very quickly. And after, like, the first time you're doing the course, there's going to be changes. Like, you want to keep it as simple as possible to edit it down the road. And that's why I say I wouldn't fork out the big bucks until you've had a few people go through the course.
But you know, a lighting kit, getting a decent USB mic, a stand. You can choose. There's plenty of advice on YouTube. There's some great channels about cameras, how to set up a professional camera rig, or you can just use a webcam. You can choose that, but there's a lot of good quality advice out there, folks, isn't there, Cindy, about that? But I agree with you, your first course, because you're probably going to have to take some of these videos multiple times to get them to the standard that you're reasonably happy with, which can be a real expensive if you're in a professional studio, can't it?
Yeah, and if this is really kind of the first go, you want to make sure it's going to sell before you invest a lot of money in it. And again, it's that whole fact that you want to be able to make changes easily. If the more difficult it is, the less you're going to be willing or motivated to do it.
So the only thing is that I'm not great. I've been doing a lot of podcasting for the past 4 years. I love podcasting. That's one of the reasons that sustain me. It's not only I do it for business reasons. I actually like podcasting, Cindy. But I admire people like Amy Porterfield and some of the other big podcasters that they can actually, on their own, talk to their audience for over half an hour. I find it easier to have either a guest or a co-host like yourself to discuss. Is that something that takes a bit of practice to actually come across with your clients when they're actually talking to the people that are taking the course, but it's them that's talking to the camera?
Well, with the courses or the lessons, you don't want the lessons to be too long. So it's not like you have to fill 30 minutes. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and so I think that it's easier from that perspective.
Yeah.
If you have a certain structure to your lesson and you want to keep it tight, and you want to kind of keep out all of the fluff, then that's a way to kind of help make that part easier. You don't have to be going on for long periods of time, because I really recommend lessons not be longer than five minutes long.
That's great. We're going to go for our break. We're going to be talking a little bit more about the tech side of it, which is going to be Cindy really asking me some questions in the second half of this great show. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. We've been talking about realistic timelines. Clients never like. This is the bit that kind of crushes their dreams. It's like it must be like a dentist, they come and then you want to say to the client, your teeth are fantastic, but sometimes you have to say you've got 3 fillings coming, my dear. But before we go into my part, I want to talk about one of our great sponsors, and that's Kinsta Hosting. And Kinsta only specialise in hosting WordPress websites. They're great for course entrepreneurs, for WooCommerce. Basically, you get what you pay for. You get what you. Oh, I'm mumbling this up, folks. You get what. I'm not struggling here. That's the first time I've struggled in a long while, Cindy. But basically, you get what you pay for, really. Well, not always, but most of the time when it comes with hosting. And your normal cheap shared hosting isn't really going to work for your course website, folks, or your WooCommerce. And this is where Kinsta comes in and helps. We host the WP-Tonic website on Kinsta, and we've been totally happy. You get the get staging site where you can try things out and then push it to your production site. That's the best way to do it. You get one button backup. You get automatic everyday backup. You get the latest versions of PHP. Why should you care? Well, it'll make your site super fast. That's why. And when people are coming on a tablet or phone, you want your site to load up the quickest it can. They use Google Cloud Hosting as their basically back-end framework. That's some of the fastest servers on the market. But what you get from Kinsta is a superb interface and superb support, 24/7 support from people that actually really know something about WordPress and about hosting in general. If that sounds interesting, go to kinsta.com and find out more about their plans. Right. So you've helped them develop the content. Now they need the website built. In my experience, that takes about 2 to 3 months. I know that sounds a long time, and I think I get kind of haggard looks. Why? Because there's a lot of back and forth, basically, and a month sounds a long time, but it soon disappears. That's the basic outline. You can probably get it done in 6 weeks if somebody's experienced in having a website developed for them beforehand and who has a really good idea about UX layout and hasn't got a lot of customization that they're requiring. That's not the norm. What do you think about that, Cindy?
I think you probably opened up a lot of people's eyes when you say 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
So in the process of getting you have, let's say the content's ready, although it sounds like you want to get the website going before your content is done, just so that don't have any more lag time. What are kind of the stages that you go through in terms of, from beginning to the end, and how long do each of the stages last?
Well, you got the pre-design, and we at WP-Tonic, you can have what is called, you can just choose a theme, right, and just slightly modify that. Then you have the semi-custom, and then you have full custom. Now, I'm going to discuss the semi-custom and the full custom because that can cause confusion. What we do, because we specialize in learning management systems, WordPress, the two that we work with really all the time is either Lifter LMS or LearnDash. And they're both owned by two great individuals. LearnDash is a husband and wife, and Lifter LMS is owned by two founders. They're both great. For your business coach, health coach, medium-size project, I probably go with Lifter LMS. For the larger projects, I go still probably with LearnDash. The reason for that is that LearnDash is a little bit more established and has some third-party add-on functionality, which is semi-mature compared to Lifter LMS. But Lifter has the benefit that it has more functionality inbuilt into it than what LearnDash has, right? So first of all, we have to work out, are we going to use Lifter LMS or are we going to use LearnDash? Then the other consideration is, are we going to do a semi-custom or a full custom design? Now, semi-custom, we have a parent theme called Astra, and that's what we work with, the Astra theme. And what Astra, it's actually been designed to work with both those learning management system plugins, both Lifter LMS and LearnDash. It works with both very well, and it has inbuilt functionality that's been designed to work with those two WordPress learning management systems, right? And what Astra also provides, it provides an extensive library of over 100 themes, child themes, that work with almost one click. You can install them into the parent theme. So, and they've got these available. So what I tend to do is, if a client's choosing the semi design option, is that we send them to this library of themes and they can look through them and play with them all online. And we ask them to choose 3 of those themes and actually give us a paragraph of what they like about that theme. And then we ask them to go to a couple live course websites that don't necessarily have to be in their particular field. And we ask them to give us 2 of those and give us a paragraph of what they like about them, right? Because most clients who have never done this before can tell you what they don't like when it's put in front of them, but they find it very hard to tell you what they like. So if you can send them somewhere where the theme is already up and running, and they can see the basic layout, and then they show us they can choose 3 of those, and then they can show us a couple examples of course that they like. Then we can morph one of the child themes and customize it so it matches, and give a pretty quick mock-up of the home page and one of the course pages quite rapidly. And then they probably will want some second round of changes to the course, the lesson page, and maybe the course selection page, and probably the home page. So they get a second round. But we find by having one of these sites that they can select, it accelerates the design process a lot quicker because you haven't got an enormous amount of back and forth. Did that make sense, Cindy?
It makes a ton of sense, and the rigor around choosing that design is so important because, again, you want to. It's not something you want to keep changing. So spending the time to really understand what it is you like and what you want it's time well spent at this point.
And then you got the and a semi-custom is going to be about half the price of a full custom design. Now you still do have clients that want a full custom design. They're thought about. They are normally people that already got courses. They normally got them on some of the popular SaaS solutions, like Teachable, like Kajabi, and they want something really custom. They have custom requirements when it comes to the actual how the courses are run, and also in design terms, they have specific requirements which their SaaS solution can't fulfill. So those people normally have ridden the pony before, and they know what they're looking for, and they normally either have hired a designer themselves and got some mock-ups for us, or we work with them and we get some full mock-ups developed for them in Photoshop, and we get our graphic designer to work with us with the client, and they get a set of mock-ups, and it's normally a home page and one of the lesson pages, and basically we knock it up, we develop it, and it's a custom theme basically from the ground up, well, which is full custom from conception to build. So hopefully I've explained semi-clearly what the difference between semi-custom and full custom is. What do you reckon, Cindy?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So to get to the point where they've chosen their theme, they've got kind of the mock-up of what they're looking for. How long would you say that takes about to get to that stage with the client?
Well, it really, that's where the skill of the pre-interview, with the semi-custom, that can take about a week to 10 days back and forth, depending on how quick the client responds. A full custom design is probably going to take a month back and forth, because you're probably not going to get it. You probably have 3 designs. We normally offer 3 designs, right? Based on the initial consultation with the client, and hopefully one of them hits the spot for the client. If it doesn't, they have to write, and then we do another 3 mock-ups in Photoshop. So it might take a month because you do the first 3 or 2, depending on what the client is happy with. Well, that might take 2 weeks. Then they might say, sorry, it's not really doing it for me. And then you discuss why. And then you do another revision, a set of revisions. And you normally, most development houses give between 1 to 2 sets of revisions. And that's set in the contract, basically. So that you can see now why the process can take a bit of time.
Yeah.
Can you not?
Yeah.
With semi-custom, you're sending them. It's going to be semi-custom. The home page and the lesson page, but it's not going to be a full custom build out. So that process is quicker.
And so what's after that then? Once you get to that stage?
Well, then you know there might be some custom functionality that they require, which has to be developed, which basically is done in a custom plugin, which either functionality to do quizzes, assessments, gamification, um, especially the people that are moving away from a full SaaS solution like Kajabi. They normally have some customization of the course structure, which they require as well. The new people, it's normally more bog standard, Cindy. They don't require, but I've got one client, it is their first course, and it's a bit of a hybrid, and they are looking for some custom development, which it's actually with LearnDash, which we're going to do for the client, hopefully. But that's unusual. Most of them already that require custom coding in actual the learning management functionality, or know what they're looking for, because that's what they're requiring, which the SaaS solution cannot provide.
Right.
Right. So if they're looking for some custom code, custom development, that really depends on the functionality that they're looking for. That can take from a month to 3 months, depending on, do they really know what they're looking for, or do they need consultation to tell them that what they're looking for is possible. Sometimes it's just not possible technically to do what they're requiring, or it would turn into such a Frankenstein of a solution that really we need to look at this in a bit more clarity. Does that make sense, Cindy?
Yeah, totally.
All right.
It makes sense in their mind, but to actually execute on it may be a completely different story.
Exactly. It might be totally clear, but it might require, and it would probably require documentation, consultation. But like I say, that normally is with a more experienced e-learning entrepreneur that's already got successful courses on a SaaS platform, where they're looking to either for us to custom build it and use one of our turnkey solutions, where they get ongoing support. But for the beginner, they can go with a semi-custom, and we host it, and we provide a set of plugins that we've tested that provides a level of functionality which the average e-learning entrepreneur is looking for. And we know that these plugins work with one another nicely, i.e. there's not plug-in conflict, because that's another thing you find when people are trying to build out something at the same time they're trying to build out the course, is they try multiple themes, multiple learning management plugins, and multiple third-party plugins, and that ends up being a bit of a Frankenstein. And that's probably one of the reasons why they look at SaaS solutions, even though it's not really quite in design terms or functionality what they're really looking for. So if we can provide a solution to get them started, then they don't have at that stage then have to move from one platform to another. At least they're just moving up in design terms, but they're still with WordPress, which is easier. They're moving something totally from a third-party SaaS solution.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of our podcast. I know I've only touched it. Hopefully, Cindy, we can stay on for another 10 minutes and delve into some of the plugins and some of the other things you should consider, which you'll be able to watch on the WP-Tonic YouTube channel, because I normally have that up a few days before it's available as a podcast on iTunes. So go to the WP-Tonic YouTube channel and subscribe, and you'll see all the latest episodes at least 4 to 5 days before they're going to be available on the WP-Tonic iTunes site. So, Cindy, how can people find out more about you and what you're up to?
Yeah, so if you want to kind of reduce the amount of time that you spend on this course in terms of development, that's definitely something that I help my clients with. And you can come reach out to me from my website at thecoursewhisperer.com, or come and say hello on LinkedIn. You just put in a search for Cindy Nicholson and you'll find the Course Whisperer there as well.
And we're proposing to do one of our other webinars at the end of this month. We do them at the last Thursday of every month. We missed last month because we had some personal conflicts and I disappeared for a little while. But we propose to do our webinar, which are the 7 steps that you need to know about to get that first course done, which is really linked to this conversation. We propose to do that on the 25th of this month, and if you want to register for that, it's totally free, and you have the great you'll be able to listen to Cindy and have to put up with me. You'd be able to do that. You go to the WP-Tonic /webinar. It's really quite simple, and there'll be a registration page, and you'll be able to register for our webinar on the 25th, which will probably be at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we're going to wrap up the podcast. We're going to have some bonus content after it, which, like I say, you'll be able to listen and watch on the WP-Tonic YouTube channel. We'll see you next week, where we're going to have we're going to actually go for a great guest, actually. You're going to be really interested in the next interview. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye. So, Cindy.
Yep.
So I think I've kind of, it's really hard to explain unless, to people coherently what the difference between semi-custom and full custom. Honestly, do you think I think I did a reasonable job there, didn't I?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty clear. And in terms of when you're first starting out, like if this is kind of the, people who aren't experienced putting a course together want to get an idea of timelines, then chances are they probably would opt for the semi customized, where, they pick their theme through Astra, and, you give some mock-ups based on that. And so I think, I think it's clear to me anyway of what.
Because you can change the font color, homepage, and the lesson page. They can be changed quite rapidly. The other thing that kind of also with our turnkey solution, folks, is that we offer a full do-it-yourself, because the whole area of WordPress over the past 18 months has dramatically, dramatically changed. Is through page builders, Cindy,
Right.
Through Elementor, the two that we provide. Is Elementor and Beaver Builder. If the client hasn't got a preference, we install Elementor. These have dramatically enabled people to build out pages, whole areas of the website without the need for help from us if they want to do that. Or we installed Elementor in our semi-custom and our full custom, and that enables us to develop additional pages much more rapidly than it used to be. So that has really changed the landscape of what is required. You normally had to have very precise mock-ups of all the key pages of the site, and they used to have to be all coded, and then if you wanted any changes, then they needed all recoding. Well, with these page builders, you don't need that. The other thing is WordPress now comes with its own page editor that's on steroids, and it's called Gutenberg. Now, and Gutenberg enables you to build sections of a page through what it calls blocks. We disarmed that because it was just introduced just went live on Christmas time. This technology is rapidly building out, but it's still not mature enough for us to recommend it to our clients. What we say, use either Elementor or Beaver Builder, because they've been on the market for over 2 years. And they both will work with Gutenberg if you choose. So there isn't a problem of compatibility. So so that's changed the landscape. So the client can really, we offer a do-it-yourself product where there's 2 levels, and basically they get the Ashta theme. They got 100 of these child themes, and then they can adapt them themselves, or they can get us to do it for them, right? So can you see that's really changed the landscape quite dramatically, hasn't it? The other thing where clients struggle, so the other thing is choosing the plugin set. So we provide a professional level form plugin called Gravity Forms. We provide the other factor that also has to be worked out. Does the Pacific client want only to sell memberships for their company, or do they also want to sell physical products combined on the same website? Now, we can do that because we can install WooCommerce, and we install that. But that has, with Lifter LMS or with LearnDash, for them to work, and you want to take subscriptions, you have to purchase a add-on plugin for WooCommerce called Subscriptions, and we provide that as well in our turnkey package, and if we required, on our semi and full custom build outs. So that these decisions, you know, got a client at the present moment that wants also to have an affiliate system. Well, with that, we use affiliate WP, and we use it on the WP-Tonic website, but we installed that. So it's really down, when it comes to how long the project will take, about these decisions. Do they want affiliate marketing? Do they want the ability to sell physical products? If so, we install WooCommerce, and that has to be built out for the client. And most of the clients get us to support that and provide hosting, because a lot of the pain that a lot of people suffer by using WordPress is that it's choosing bad hosting and not choosing a developer that specializes in courses and membership sites. So those people are learning on the job, basically, which we all do. But the strengths of using WordPress is that when you will want at some stage to have custom functionality or custom look, which you will not be able to achieve on a SaaS platform. And then you're going to have the lovely experience of trying to move all your users, memberships, everybody from a SaaS platform into WordPress. And that, you know, we do it for clients, but it's not something to undertake that lightly.
Yeah, well, it's such a when you're first starting out with all of the things that you have to do to also do the technology can be like overwhelming, which is why people turn to the SaaS ones, because they don't want to have to worry about that right now. But the good news is there's people like you now that can provide the service to get it all up and running, so that, you know, if this is a vision for you for longer term, you can get it set up right now, rather than that headache that you're going to end up having down the road when you find that it doesn't provide you everything that you need. So
yeah,
it's a tough decision at the beginning, but it's worth it down the road, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think like something like Kajabi, what it does offer, it offers marketing automation, but we offer a plugin called WP Fusion, which is a sponsor of the WP-Tonic podcast, that works flawlessly with all the third-party marketing automation platforms like ActiveCampaign, drip. There's over 40 of them, which WP Fusion works with them. So you and also we're looking at a inbuilt WordPress automation. I'm discussing it with the company at the present moment, so we might be offering that inbuilt as well. So one of the strengths of Kajabi is it does offer a marketing automation, but on the other hand, they do play on that. But that's really more for a mature marketer that's built out the funnels, that has built out the sales funnels, that has more than one course that's starting off. But also they find that they have that ability, but they struggle with the limitations of design and functionality that something like Kajabi offers. So I think with WordPress and our solution, Cindy, is you get best of both worlds. You can get that customization in design and functionality, and not have to worry about some of the conflicts and other problems that some people mistakenly say is at the door of WordPress itself, where in my experience it's more down to poor quality hosting and people that don't have a set of plugins which they've tested and know that work flawlessly. All right. So I think we're going to wrap it up now, folks. Hopefully we're giving you insight into all the things. Like I say, we'll be back next week. We've got a great guest. We've got some great guests in April and the beginning of May. I'm excited. And I think Cindy's excited as well. I think we've got some great interviews coming up this month, haven't we?
Yep. Looking forward to it, Jonathan.
All right. We'll see you next week, folks. Bye.